Moving on to hold time. Quite a significant subject, this one, in that most central limit order books or exchanges don't have hold time. Our job really is to make our technology work as quickly as possible. So you send an order in, we can match you or we don't. If we match you or not, we tell you as quickly as possible. That happens in equities, it happens in futures. So we spend about 70% of our budget every year on technology, and most of that is about increasing our speed and increasing our performance. So when you look at, this is an example on the screen, when you look at, this was Bank 3, I believe, if you look at this hold time, you'll see that nothing really happens until 83 milliseconds. The first blue peak you see, which is the distribution of fill rates. And then there's another peak around 108 milliseconds, the blue peak again. What's that all about? Well, before I tell you what that is, let's look on the left-hand side. You'll see these red peaks, which are systematic peaks. What that means is you send an order in, there'll be an error of some sort, so probably you've exceeded your credit line or there's no liquidity. The liquidity provider responds to you immediately and says, sorry, can't help you with this order. So it's obvious that the liquidity provider can respond to you. But most of the orders filled happen around 83 milliseconds, or later 108 milliseconds. Why is the two peaks? Well, oddly, this hold time changed on June the 23rd and never changed back for the rest of the year. June 23rd was the Brexit referendum. So there's the hold time. Now, does hold time matter? Well, to one of my clients I spoke to last week, they say no, it doesn't matter because they're aiming for 100% fill rate. So what I'll tell you now is, unless you get 100% fill rate, you must attribute a cost to that hold time. Now, if you go into the white paper, you'll see that we attribute the cost as $25 per million at 100 milliseconds. It's not linear, by the way. You can't just simply bring it down and say, okay, well, my cost at 10 milliseconds is only $2.50. In fact, we see 60% of the cost of hold time happening in the first 10 milliseconds. So make sure you measure your hold time, and that a fill at 100 milliseconds is very different to a fill immediately or in a 1 millisecond, as you would expect on the LMAX exchange. To repeat, we have no discretionary hold time. Our 4 nines in terms of execution speeds are 3 milliseconds, and 2 nines normally less than 1 millisecond.